You can fall in love with everything, but first impressions matter too. Today, we'll be taking a look at a bunch of the best online browser first-person shooters and ranking them based on their first impressions only. Which game is the most exciting for new players? And which one should you try as a beginner who loves FPS games? Let's find out. Today, we'll be ranking 7 popular browser games: Venge.io, Core.io, EV.io, Krunker.io, Kryzen.io, Kirk.io, and Repulse.io. Remember, these are all my opinions, and please comment below if you agree or disagree. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, no hard feelings to any of these games. Before we start, I'll define the 4 tiers I'll be giving them. If I rank something S tier, that means that it is a really high-quality game that is easy to understand from the first impression. Whether you play other browser games, or if you're a noob, this game is really easy to get the hang of. This game stands the test of time, keeps players interested, and has a great internet presence. These games represent the absolute best of the best in terms of playability and how easy they are to get introduced to. If I rank something A tier, that means it's a solid game, made with love and fun to play, but definitely has some flaws, especially for newer players that want to get introduced to it. The imperfections don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but they are there for sure. Whether it's the fact that there's no tutorial for new players, or the fact that the game gets boring, it's a solid game with a solid player base, but has some issues for sure. If I rank something B tier, that means the game is generally okay. It definitely lacks the polish, but it has redeeming qualities that new players can hold on to. B tier games are hard to learn and aren't very welcoming for newer players. They lack a permanent player base due to this. But again, it's still not a bad game. It just has some room for improvement. If I rank something C tier, it's not beginner friendly at all. It's not fun or enjoyable, and it's not worth time for a beginner to get into it. The issues of the game hinder playability, whether it's performance issues or general issues while the game goes on. The game needs a lot of help, and I wouldn't recommend it. You might notice why there isn't an F tier. That's because I don't believe any browser game deserves such a low ranking. F stands for failure, and we should understand that all game developers try their very best. Anyone who is able to design and program a web game should be applauded and respected for their efforts. Alright, let's finally get into the ranking. Venge.io is the first game I'll be ranking. Venge is fun, and there's a lot of different variety in weapon and combat options. The movement is nice, and the kills are satisfying. Weapons have recoil, and there are quite a lot of exciting features and unlockability. The card system is cool, and the voting screen at the end allows players to choose what to play next. The sound effects are intense and engaging and satisfying. Having the name be called Venge leads to a pun for achievements, which adds to the engagement of the game. The visuals are very nice, and the reload animations are very fluid. It's easy to get the hang of, and the UI is very convenient and simple. I especially like the particle effects, the muzzle flashes, and the models. They are of very high quality and a professional standard. Now, in terms of how I would rank it from first impression, I would give it an A. While it is really easy to get the hang of, there are definitely a few issues. Navigation is tricky for a beginner, and it is not very friendly for newer players, especially the complex ability system. You're thrown into the action without a guide, and for newer players, all you know is that you have a gun and you can shoot it at other players. But there's so much that goes unnoticed. Next up is Core.io. Core is quite fun, especially with the bold style and fast kills. The weapons are really fun, and the sound effects add so much. From reloading to killing and rewards, everything is fun. 100%, the sound effects are the best part. The style is very clean, and having spawn protection is really helpful. The diverse weapons are so nice as well. The flamethrower is so much fun, and the fast-paced game makes it easy to hop right back into the midst of the action. But there is one major problem, which is why I'm only giving an A tier. Core.io's time to kill is way too short. You can pretty much kill someone in 2 seconds. Not only is it hard to react, but with how fast it is to kill, the large maps do feel pretty empty at times. The pacing just feels off. Beginners might feel like there are a lack of players in the lobby. And because of this, most lobbies just end up with a few good players that randomly kill you without you being able to react. And yes, the dancing animation is cool at the end, and the style is nice, but this fundamental issue can make beginners not enjoy their time very much. EV.io has really stunningly good graphics. The lighting and rendering effects are top-notch. The sci-fi style stands out, with neon particles and sound effects. The double jumping is nice, and the UI is very simplistic and futuristic. There's a lot of action going on, and unlike core.io, the time to kill is very long. Weapons do a lot less damage, so it takes quite a while to kill others. Reloading also takes a long time. Weapon sound effects are loud and create a suspenseful environment, which adds to the competitiveness of the lobby. I give EV.io an A tier because of its lack of beginner friendliness. New players get thrown into such a competitive scene that it just gets demotivating after a certain point. Not to mention the fact that the time to kill being so long actually creates another issue. It is too easy to steal kills. And while having a lot of bots helps fill the lobby a bit, keeping it in the same lobby with sweats just creates a very unwelcome environment for someone's first impression of the game. Crunker.io is the next game to rank. The game is not bad, with a very satisfying headshot sound effect. The blocky art style flows well with the fast movement. The melee attack and being able to throw the knife in battle adds a whole level of complexity. Getting clips is very easy, and the focus on combat makes the game very competitive. The customization system is extensive, but it gets overlooked by new players who don't spend much time trading. I consider Crunker to be a B-tier game. It's very competitive, and it's very hard to kill players as a new player. The game has a lot of empty lobbies, and newer players don't seem to stick around much. There's a large fan base for it, but you're either a die-hard fan or someone doesn't come back to the game. Next up is Cryzen.io. Cryzen is very intense. It has satisfying kills and a good kill time. Pros will definitely love it for its style. It mimics the style of other popular combat games, and the shadows and textures definitely reflect that idea. The music adds a lot too. The cosmetic items are also a plus. However, that's all the positives I can find, especially from first impression. This game is not beginner-friendly at all. The health indicators are not very good, and it's not very engaging. It's intense and fun, but it quickly loses its interest because there's only so many things you can do in the game. Kirk.io is next on the list. The game has cool movement for casuals and even cooler movement for competitive players. The dash ability adds a layer of complexity as well. The map and blocky style work well with the satisfying kills. The HUD is simple and clear, and the sound design is very simplistic. The environment is very bare bones, which makes movement and combat the main focus. I like that the ads aren't in your face and are placed in sneaky places. The skins and styles and customization are by far the most extensive. Players tend to stay for long periods of time because of this fact alone. I'm giving Kirka an A tier though. It's just not beginner friendly. Matchmaking is difficult, and the locked weapons are hard to understand. Weapons have nicknames that make them hard to identify. Another issue is that distinguishing teammates and enemies is a big struggle. The main menu is way too sophisticated for the average person who tries a game. The lack of beginner friendliness is the sole reason Kirka isn't a tier. Finally, we have REPULS.io. The long tutorial immediately stands out as a way to engage newer players, which is considerate. The boost system is cool as well. The UI is nice, and the maps are detailed. Vehicle combat adds so much, since most of the vehicles are easy to drive for beginners and really fun to operate, despite being unbalanced. The weapon strike is unique, and the headshot sound is satisfying. This game has the loudest player hurting and death sounds, which makes it iconic in a way. The level system is cool, and the music is energetic and upbeat. The voting system is convenient, and the flying ragdolls of eliminated players is a cherry on top. The visuals are very cinematic, blending sci-fi, realism, and low poly. I love the deep narration voice. However, I give Repulse the IOAB rank. It might be the most beginner-friendly of all the FPS games on the list, but there are too many unavoidable issues present. The ads are the longest of any IO game, and there are ads everywhere. The bugs and glitches are endless and by far the most prevalent. The amount of glitches with signing in and creating an account alone make it hard for new players to enjoy it, as well as some slightly glitchy weapon animations and a lot of typos and misspelled words. The limited ammo is completely unnecessary and honestly takes away from the gameplay experience. And that concludes the tier list. You might notice that none of the browser games are placed in the S tier. That's because of the 7 that I played and tried out. All of them have a fundamental issue or several that prevent them from placing in S tier. But hopefully, to all the game devs out there that might be watching this video, I hope you guys take something away from my feedback. There's a lot of good work being done, and it's noticeable for sure, but there's still a lot more to be done to get casual players interested. The first impression matters. It matters a lot. And the flaws of each of these games are the sole reason people stick to non-browser games instead of playing these online ones. Online games are considered something free, something easy to play, something fun and casual. But that's where the problem emerges. These games have the potential to be so much more. These games can be so much more than simply browser games. We can change the definition of a browser game and make it so that new players feel like they're playing a game just as cool or fun as any other downloadable popular game. So I'll leave with an interesting thought. Most people consider browser games to be cheap, unrefined, and unworthy of attention. But is that how we want browser games to be considered? There's so much more that these games can offer. And this is why I will make an updated version of this video next year, in 2026. I will review all the games again and see if there is a difference, and add more games to the list if I get some suggestions in the comments. But for now, this has been Caracal, and I hope you enjoyed watching.